hot. So we're gonna get them tapped in over here, and we're gonna go to Facebook Live. So we'll be back shortly as soon as we um, stay tuned. All right. Um, okay, we're multitasking, guys. We're trying not to get. His video was. Um, okay. Um, bear with us. Devil, you a lie. We go make this interview happen. Okay, we're gonna tap back in. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. How y'all doing this lovely Thursday? We're gonna try one more time on So Serious TV. There we go. One more time on So Serious TV. What you playing over there, DJ Livewire? What you playing?
Right now, I got some neo soul blasting off for the
Okay.
people. You know,
Okay.
it's Friday.
It's Thursday. It's Friday. It's
No, it's
Thursday.
Thursday. I'm a day. No, I'm doing Australia time right
he,
now.
he had
I'm a
me
day ahead.
questioning myself. Like, wait, it's
Yeah,
Friday.
I'm a day ahead
We
right
all
now.
off there. Hey,
Hey,
better. I want to see a smile.
man, it's crazy. It's hard to
I
smile out here.
know, I know, I know. Well, we're gonna lift your spirits a little bit, hopefully, and how we get through this is we encourage and challenge, encourage each other, unify, lend strength where we need to be lent to. You know what I mean? And we all feeling it. you know. So what I want you to do, I just want you to tell the people, this will be on iHeartRadio. It'll be Pandora, Sirius, like whatever you want to say and get out there. If this is your platform, me platform, Sue platform, you know. So just tell us how you feeling.
Well, I'm feeling in a place of where we've come so far, but yet we keep getting pulled back um, into the days of the 50s, 60s, and it's just for us as Black African, Black people, we haven't continued to be respected and get the justice that we deserve. And it's unfortunate that a black unarmed man is still deemed more of a threat than a white armed man.
Mhm.
That will police will drive by
Mhm.
and not arrest them, or if someone has shot up a church, they will arrest them peacefully and take them to go get something to eat. Where there's someone, African American, who was accused of something that wasn't as deadly as shooting up a church, but yet was put, had a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So for
Yeah.
me, there is no equal playing field. It's
Right.
simply um, shoot first, ask questions last, or guilty until proven innocent instead of innocent until proven guilty. So for me, it's just that I feel like we definitely have to continue to use our voice. We have to continue to help make changes, and that's
Mhm.
going to go start into the offices, DA offices, um, legislation, and just everything that we have to, we have to equip ourselves with information. Like I'm not a politician, I'm not an activist, but
Mhm.
I have to be activated to it, to
Mhm.
get more in tune and knowledgeable on what I can do to really make a change because we can use our voice, use our platform, but then what? If no real change is happening. So I don't want to give the power to them as far as fear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have fear when it comes to officers. I'm not going to give anybody that fear. That's God has that fear that I give to Him, and so it's simply understanding that as a black man, or going out the house and coming back is uh, is a successful trip,
Mm-hmm.
and it should be that way. It should
Definitely.
it should simply be I'm going out, I'm coming home to my family, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the mindset. But not let me not get stopped by a cop, or if I get stopped by a cop, I have to have unthreatening demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I get stopped by a cop, I'm already putting out all windows and I'm putting my hand where they can see us because
Yeah.
I don't want you. I'm already kind of maybe having my license registrations already there so that it's no questions on what I'm doing.
Right. So let me just touch on some of your points, right? We as a people have PTSD. We have as melanated people have PTSD. It's that's why you get the anger. That's why you have all of these other, what they'll call angry black man or angry black woman. It's because we have PTSD, and the healing comes in recognizing that, number one, right? The system was never, ever, ever meant to better us as a people. It wasn't meant for us, right? And policing specifically, right? I'm not the best historian when it comes to the time frame number, 1980 whatever, right? Or 1890 whatever, right? Is what I'm saying.
But
So that system of policing was built in the slavery, right? Right before, when the slaveries were free, and the slaves were becoming free, and there were progressive laws being set up to
but
monitor the slaves, because we're gonna let y'all free, right? But we're gonna not let y'all free. So we're gonna
yeah,
set up a system of, if you can't go from this plantation to this plantation unless you have the appropriate papers. Sound familiar?
right,
We can't go from, you know what I'm saying, unless we have
right.
the appropriate documentation.
And then
That
they still wanted to put you back in the slavery. You could, so that paper really meant nothing. Like they can show that paper and
and
that
it
paper
hasn't
like,
changed.
yeah, I'm free.
It hasn't changed. It has just evolved into a civilized, more um, detailed, as we grow in intelligence as people, and systematically, right? That core staple of why policing was put together has not changed.
Right,
That's why we're not being able to infiltrate into the white supremacist groups who infiltrate the police, the you know what I'm saying,
right,
the system, this policing, right? Because, right, they never were meant to be. So why do we look for them, as good, God fearing, universal, vibing, the best person that we can be, right? We will always want to look for the good in someone, right? No, this is a good police, that's a bad police, da, 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 right? Okay, but it's the system. It's set up for that. That person could be good in their heart, but they have fallen victim to the systematic way of this,
right,
uh, race based built organization, right?
right,
Torches, hanging. It hasn't changed. There's nothing new under the sun. So we can expect it to change. We have to, as a community, and us having to build and grow on top of how the system that was brought. And when I say we, I'm speaking specifically for African American, people, right? So we've had to evolve and learn and grow into their system, and in order for us to survive as a people, as a race, as a, you know what I'm saying? But then
right.
don't look at that. Yes, slavery existed. It was very real. It was da 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 da. Right? We know that, and we still fighting this. We still climbing this mountain. Y'all gotta change the system. Y'all gotta change the system. right? Look at it prior to that. Look at it, excuse me, look at it in the English settlers. Think about the natives on this land, the original people on this land. Think about that history and what happened. They had a system already. The United States, as we know it now, had a system already. We had beliefs, we had religion, we had education, we had everything that was set down for our civilization, for our people to grow, that were originally on this land. And then we had immigrants come in. Now, I'm not saying nothing towards immigrants, nothing. But I'm speaking to the system, right? The governmental system that was demanded upon us for survival. You either rock this way because we have guns, right? We have guns. We can shoot you, we can kill you, we can burn your house down. You know what I'm saying? We have weapons that you can't fight against, right? As speaking as native, right?
Right.
So in order for you to have your land, in any land that we give you, right? Because in order for you to have what we're designating to give you, because we have overpowered you, because we have guns, you're gonna live by that system and adapt that system and grow that system in order for you to survive, and still is today. There's nothing new under the sun. It still is happening today. So as a people, as melanated people, as originated people, we have to understand that the system was not meant for us,
Right.
that they came on top of us and said do this. Now here, how do we fix that? How do we change it? Because definitely it's not going to be burning down a Wendy's. It's
Yeah,
definitely not
and
going to
people
be.
have to put they resources, like even with
Bingo.
from people who have the money. I mean, we have to start building up the communities. We have to start protecting. I mean, I think when people say defund the police, they think, oh, we're gonna take away all the funding, but it's simply understanding like a lot of funding has gone to the police system, but they haven't been upholding the law in the sense of protecting African Americans. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's going to benefit who it benefits, but then it's like, well, what about the other money that could be put into building up the black communities or the Latino communities or other communities that are not? So it's simply not saying to fund them completely, but understanding saying move resources that were normally all going to police and put some of that resources into building up these communities so that people feel like they're cared about, and it's I mean, I think it's just a plethora of things. Aside from the police killing of on black people, but then also the incarceration of innocent black people, where you see people who have been in jail for 37 years, and the law wasn't on their side. All they had to do was get the information where you see that someone saying, "Hey," multiple cases where the person that did the crime saying, "Hey, I did it," and they're like, "Oh no, we got the person we wanted to get."
Mm-hmm.
Um, where you even seen with Steve murder case for instance, where it's like the person is saying, I said what I said because I was here for the cops," and that's what happens sometimes is people make up these lies or say things to save their own self, and then there's people that are incarcerated for years.
Right.
There's a lot of innocent people in jail, and there's people that are not innocent, but is think about all the cases you hear about. A lot of times it's African Americans that are incarcerated because, especially if whatever state you're in, if it's an all white jury, then they're gonna, depending on what their background is, you think they're gonna, believe you,
Right.
especially if it's a racist type of town or state. So it's just we have a lot of things pinned up against us, and people want to understand why do we strive for greatness so much where it becomes with entertainment, being an athlete, because this sometimes that's all we have.
That's who we
To go
are.
get out of the environments that some of us grow into, we have
Mm-hmm.
nothing. I mean, Biggie said it. It's either you have a wicked jump shot or you're selling rock. Sometimes you need it. A lot of times there's other things we can do, but those are the quickest things to do to get out the hood.
Yeah.
And it's everybody doesn't have the type of parents that I had, where it's like I grew up a lot of 8.5 years. I grew up overseas, so I got the chance to see a lot of things that a lot
Mm-hmm.
of my relatives didn't get to see. My little cousins or anybody in my my age group didn't get to see that. So I was
Mm-hmm.
lucky to have that. But that's not everyone's story. Some people were born in the hood or ghetto, whatever you want to call it, and they have to adapt to their environment. So the mentality that they have, whether it's being a drug dealer or whatever it may be, you have to do what you have to do to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Some, Caucasians, they don't have that issue because some of them are trust fund children and that they have family that are wealthy.
Yeah.
Like I was saying one day, I was like, man, I would wonder what it would be like to grow up into money. Would I be the same? Would I, have be privileged? And
You would be
um,
because you would be privileged,
yeah,
and
because
privilege is white and black, and you know what I mean. That's one thing I did want to, it's white and black. Privilege can be pretty and ugly. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a thing that people who are attractive and people who what I'm saying are pretty or beautiful people, they have
right,
a certain kind of privilege as well. You know what I mean? So it is that, but the challenge is to look beyond, because we know that we've been struggling, and if we're going to internalize, which you should, because we should show a great deal of empathy for what's happening right now, right? But we gotta strap on our gear.
yeah,
We have to, because you can't succumb, and the more that we dwell, right, in the energy of negativity, the harder it's going to be for us internally. We can't
yeah,
save the world. We can't. We can only change it. We can improve it. And right now, what you're doing is improving it and changing it, because there's not a lot of celebrities that are vocal right now, right?
yeah,
And as a community, we need that buying power. We need that representative that's going to stand up and say, these are my people. How much do I got to take to da 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 da, right?
right,
Um, with, I mean, just speaking a little bit on it, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, there's a negative history or, or stigma when it comes to Kamala Harris and policing, right?
mm-hmm.
Which I've been affected by individually, right? And so I'm still on a teeter, like, it don't have nothing to do with whether she's black or whether she's Jamaican or whether she's da 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 da, right? Because one drop
Right,
makes you black. It don't matter at this point. Every human being on this earth is black right now. You know what I'm saying? Somebody did from day one, right?
right,
So it just doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is to look at the issues. The point is to look at what's
right,
going to affect you, and speak up for change. You know what I mean? It's
right,
about, right. We only have a little bit of time left for our collective voices to be heard, and we're gonna have a march on Washington tomorrow, right? Hosted by Reverend Al Sharpton and his organization, right? And so it's suspected to be, I don't know why I'm stuttering right now. I'm just trying to get everything out in one time frame, but it's supposed to be 40,000 people there. It's the 57th anniversary of Dr.
right,
Martin Luther King's march. You know what I mean? And so thus builds bringing our energy and our attention and our power into something that's going to be positive and something that's going to change the systemic racism that's happening, that has been happening, that has, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. But if you're going to stand up for change, and if it's in your heart and you're compelled to stand up for change, then you have to step out of your comfort zone
right.
and be willing to put your life on the line to stand up. You know,
And,
um,
and the,
everybody
yeah,
ain't everybody can't
and
do
the
that.
and the crazy thing is that people say what they want to say about Biden, they say they want to say about Kamala Harris, but it's just like, I don't say it's screwed either way. I mean, I still have to look at the history of both, but it's like,
Hmm.
what would you rather? Stay in what we have now,
No.
or at least see what they're gonna do over here? Either way, everyone has their own political agenda. Um,
Yeah.
but I think for me, I'm always like, no matter who's in office, God is still in control. I look at the
Right.
coronavirus situation, it's like we're all in the same situation. And then the global support that we've had as African Americans for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one good thing we can take away from the pandemic is that it put everyone on pause,
Mm-hmm.
and it caused people to really visualize what happened, because who knows if sports would have been happening, everything would have been going on as life as possible, the George Floyd situation would happen. Who knows if that impact would have been the same? Because it was just like, well, that's
It
another person.
wouldn't
Because
have
it's like,
been.
why did it take that? But people would be like, oh, we're going to do
Yeah.
this initiative. Oh, now we understand that the kneeling was not to disrespect the flag. But it's like we would think Colin Kaepernick and everybody else was telling us after the jump.
Yeah.
And so it's just,
And here's another thing I want you to look at. Here's another angle. Um, I was watching one of the congressional hearings, and I think it was of the Attorney General, and one of the somebody brought up the comment that uh, there is a war tactic, right? So you want to evoke a race war, right? And then what you do is, even in the art of war, if you want somebody to want to fight and retaliate and whatever, then what you do is you invoke or provoke that fight. You know what I'm saying? And
right,
so with them, just another angle. I'm not saying I'm pro or con this angle, but I'm saying this is what was brought to my attention in order to think about it, right? And
right,
so that very act of him putting his knee on George Floyd's neck and it being going so viral, right? Which was it was intended to do, right? You
absolutely,
just think about that as being an act of war, and unfortunately, right? George Floyd was the casualty of that war, and his family and his family's family and his legacy was the casualty of that war, and that's the what they wanted. um, you know that's the agenda, that's the narrative that they wanted to put out there, is that, look, yeah, we did it,
yeah,
and what y'all gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And so the fortunate that, God bless America in the aspect is that for the last, my lifetime, we have, and I'm an educator. I've been an educator for 30 years. And in my lifetime, the teachers and the educators that I've been around, and our narrative was, this we this a lie, this a lie, this we finna teach these people, these children, the truth, and we get in trouble for it or whatever. But we had 30 years, or at least me myself personally had 30 years of dealing with and teaching children, right?
right,
And so now those children that we taught that that's a lie, those are the ones that's out there on the front line. Those are the ones that are saying, "Oh, no, 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 no. We didn't grow up like this. We didn't want. We never saw this. You know what I'm saying? This is not how we live. This is not what we were taught. We were taught
right,
on the likes of Jane Elliott, who said we are only on one race. You know what I mean? That's how we were taught. We were taught with Bev Boss. You know what I'm saying? We were taught with different principles of, not racism and white supremacy and whatever, right? We rallied against as teachers to teach this next millennials of, the real, right? And so here they are on the front line going, this is not, no, we don't, this is not what we know, and it's different. And y'all, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So the impact has been made, right? And so now we, as the generation, like, we are becoming the elders. Your age group, my age group, are becoming the elders, and this is in our hands of what we're going to do and where we're going to leave for that generation that's standing on the front line for us and their children and our legacies. You know what I mean? Who's going to stand up and say and take the lead on it, because we don't
right,
have a lead on it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so that's what I'm pursuing. That's what I'm looking for and listening to. And here's the thing: if we don't have a lead, then the only choice is to come together and unify and be that massive lead. And we can lead each
right,
other. We have strong enough power, right? I'm just rambling, but one of my favorite cartoons is My Little Pony, right? And it's because that whenever the forces of evil trying to take over the land, trying to destroy, trying to kill, steal, destroy, that's what the enemy does, right? Then the power of the ponies are each representative of a specific good power of friendship, power of love, power of giving, power of whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? But
right,
every time those powers that come together defeat the enemy, every time. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of lessons in that, in just that My Little Pony, because it's, this is what we're going through. We're going through the forces of evil, destroying our land, going through destroying our systems. They're attacking our children, attacking our education, attacking our physical bodies, attacking our brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what we have to do as a people is recognize the power that's within us that they've told us for 500, 600,000 years that we didn't have. But like my brother Judah Priest said, the last shall be first. The last shall be first. So we're going to lay down and be the last, you know,
Right.
or we're going to rise and use our powers and come together and conquer and be the first.
Yeah, it's definitely it's very defeating when you keep seeing these things happen, and you're like, man, like certain situations, um, you can try to justify it. In certain situations, it's like really like I'm looking at the situation that happened the Atlanta. I forgot the guy's name,
Ahmaud
at the
Arbery.
Wendy's, and
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
and when he, everything was cool, and I was just like, for me, I was like, why would he fight the police? When everything would have a good conversation, it seemed like when the other officer came, he kind of got, a little agitated or whatever. But it was just like until that point where he said, I'm about to arrest you, and then he started resisting. I'm like, the mentality still in that situation has to be like, let me get home to my kid. Like, I know I'm in the wrong.
He
I was
was drunk.
victim.
He was
Um,
inebriated. So
and
his
I'm just like,
mentality, his
I'm
mentality
like,
was to
for
survive. That's what his mentality was. That's the fear that you're having, is because when you go outside and you encounter a police officer, your mentality instantly goes to survive. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I don't know what this is going to happen. I don't know. I could be as nice as I want to be. I could be as nice. You know what I mean? I could be cordial. I could be esteemed. I could be, you know what I mean? Debonair, whatever. But the mentality instantly, no matter who you are, is to survive. So they don't recognize that. They don't really understand that. They because they don't, the police officers that stopping in this way. I'm not saying everybody, because even police officers have had this experience. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm just like,
But
yeah, definitely shooting him in the back was wrong. Like anyone
it
who's
was
a
horrible.
Marine, shooting like this. I mean, even they say this. I mean, from the training, like if you can't, if a person is running away, you can. I mean, unless they're shooting back at you, then that's something different. But if they're running away, you can't really shoot them, and then to do that in that manner, it's just like, dang. And then you see with Jacob Blake, it's like they're so close to him, and it's like you had to shoot him 7 times. Like you don't, I mean, it's like it's two of you guys, and I mean, there's so many things. It's like when you shoot somebody in the back, that's saying almost saying you're not even man enough to face them. In a sense,
Yeah.
it's like you're shooting someone in the back is almost being stabbed in the back.
It's like it's just
They're
like
walking away,
deer
and here they
hunting.
said they found the knife, it's like I think the hardest thing too is to definitely be a police officer, definitely in this time because one, you're hoping trying to make the right decision. Sometimes it doesn't always end up having the right decision, but you also have this pressure on you to understand that your life is in danger as well,
Hmm.
and it's one of those things where you're gonna be scrutinized. So you have to be truly careful. It's not a job that anybody. I wouldn't want that job even.
Right.
With
Right.
post previous or not. It's just something like you have a decision to make where it could be your life or somebody
It's
else's,
the shoe on
and
the other foot.
you can make that mistake
Hmm.
and shoot somebody, and then find out they don't have a gun. It's like, oh my god, all they had was a brush in their hand. Um,
But then it's also, you got to look at the officer as well. That officer is approaching that car, not knowing or not knowing or not paying that person instantly is on the defense because they fear for their lives. It's a flight or flight
right,
situation on both ends. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not speaking towards any type of defundment or policing or whatever, right? But I'm saying
right,
that that officer outside of that uniform is still a human being, whether they the
yeah,
right type of human being or wrong type of human being, they still human. So their instincts are, okay, I'm gonna approach this car. Am I gonna, you know what I'm saying? Are they gonna pull out a gun on me? Are they gonna what's gonna happen? Especially in this time, because the atmosphere, it was the narrative and the agenda from COVID to all the stuff that we're going through right now. That was carefully and wonderfully orchestrated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the
Yeah.
response, the autonomic response of a human being, when you've got in front of your face every day that this could be a dangerous situation. You know what I mean? That's like you running into fire at the same time, and your instant response is fight or flight.
Yeah.
There ain't no talking. I know if the police come up on me, I'm not interested in talking about my day and he and a ha ha and thinking, oh, I'm just gonna get a ticket. It's just not. I took a journey I drove from one side of the coast to the other side of the coast. I got stopped 15 times.
Mm.
15 times. License, I had all the papers, massa, I was supposed to have, right? But I got stopped 15 times. And really, it depended on how I wore my hair. If my hair was braided like this, oh, that whole day, I'm getting pulled
Wow.
over. You know what I'm saying? But if I have the
And
straight
they
hair
say
and
why? Was it
huh,
was it a reason
it
why you
doesn't
was getting
matter what
stopped?
the reason why is. When they stop you, they gonna check everything. It doesn't matter, especially if you're not the state that you're supposed to be in. You go from California to Colorado, and you in the boondocks, and you know where you're going because you're just traveling. And who knows? You could be in a hick area. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? We don't know everything geographically. You know, and you go to the wrong place, and they pulling you over. Oh no, you ain't supposed to be up here. But how come this is America? I'm supposed to be able to go everywhere. It's land of the free.
Yeah, my cousin was telling me about a situation. He was somewhere and he stopped to get gas, and people were looking at him, and black officer pulled up. He was like, "You ain't from around here, are you?" He was like, "Nah." He was like, "Yeah. This town is only what three black people," and he said that to me and my family. And he was the officer, and so he was just like,
And he knew.
"Yeah, you may want to
Yeah,
go on
go left.
and get out,"
Uh-huh.
and it was just like, "Yo, this is crazy. This is
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many years ago, but it wasn't that long ago. It was just like he heard and got at it, but it's like, yo, this is who we are. This is who we at.
This
Where it's
is
like I
yeah.
can't even be in
But
certain
see, we even
places.
worse there. We're even worse than that. That was the last 20 years, right? But we're worse than that now. And we have the potential with the electorals that we have the potential to get even worse, even worse. And that's what we have to pay close attention to. Like, how is this going to affect us on the streets? How is it going to affect the homeless? How is it going to affect my son when he walks to that ain't happening ever again. But
Yeah.
when he walks to school, you know what I'm saying? How is it going to affect that? So it's a lot, and us we have to it's a lot that we've had to bear. It's a lot that our ancestors. I'd rather bear this than bear getting whipped with chains and
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know how I could have got through that
I have
era.
never been a slave.
You know
I
what
don't
I'm
know if I
saying?
would make it.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I mean. So
It's a lot of
so
rebellion.
this is our generation's cross, and how we handle it is going to determine what happens. It might be the end of the world. How you going out at the end of the day? Are you going to go out with being one with your creation and creator and the God in you? Are you going to go out like that and at peace and knowing that you did your best work on this earth that you were supposed to do before you left here? Or are you going to
Right.
go out that evil one where you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? And who knows the torture of being that evil one that you're gonna have to bear? Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody can say that this is what it's at. We've been taught the Bible. We've been taught the Bible under different interpretations. It's all been different, and even till now, it's different interpretations. So what you have to look in within, it's about you and your fight with your God, your Creator, Allah, whoever it is that you're gonna be at one with, and tap in. You can't let this situation depress you. You can't let it get you down. You can't let the sign of the times, the era of the times, put you in a funk. You gotta push. You gotta, love you, brother. Give out all your heart, and you gotta push, and you gotta stand, and you gotta do You know what I'm saying? Keep your peace in your within you. Forget PTSD. Yeah, we do have PTSD, but I'm stronger. My power is stronger. There's no weapon formed against me that shall prosper, brother. And that goes for you and all my people out there. You have to
Right.
get up in the morning and say that. Get up in the morning and believe that, come against me. I got some forces, some power, and some people behind me. I got some, you know what I mean? And rally and gather those people together, around you, and fulfill your space with people with the same, the like mindedness, because we're gonna all walk together on wherever we going. It ain't just gonna be one person. You know what I'm saying? So don't let it get you down, man. I seen you the tears, and I said, oh no, I got no, we can't do that. We can't do that. I need to uplift my brother. So when I'm crying, you can uplift me. You know, I think he tapped out. Well, with those words, that was a powerful um, interview with Melvin Jackson Jr. We definitely hope to have him on. Uh, after that, and after that, and after that. He on my mind is so. He got me going on a lot of these issues that I typically don't speak on. Period. And so, um, but when I see my brother's hurting, my sister's hurting, especially in the industry, and we're going through a lot in this industry, and it's an uncertain time. So I just reach out, reach out, and that's what we got to do, yo. We got to continue to reach out to each other and show some love and show some unity and keep lifting each other up, because it's that time. It's the time to do it. So, Livewise Radio Show, back to the promotions. Sometimes it's about the promotion and us getting money, because we always need to get money. We still got to keep our grind, we still got to keep our heads up and stay strong. But at the end of the day, um, we got to fill our temple as well. And that's very important. So I'm just sharing this with you. Um, Dang it. Okay, let's remove. I'm sorry. I'm live on Instagram, and I'm live on um, Facebook. And let me close this one out because we lost the connection. Start getting too heated. Thank you, Facebook, for not cutting my video though. I guess we right here. So